Okay, good afternoon all. So now, after learning about basics of Python programming, I will be talking about how and where we should run our Python codes, right? So first, let me share my screen, and then I will. So there will be three different segments in my talk. Initially, I will talk about Google Colab. It's a very well-known editor, or one can say IDE for running Python program. Then we will talk about some other state-of-the-art IDEs, and then I will talk about some kind of, one can say, AI-based mechanisms using which we can take some kind of benefits with respect to learning Python programming. Right. So that will be the flow of my talk. So let me share my screen one more time. Okay. Okay. Fine. So many of you, like someone has written that so we know Google Colab, which is good, but still I will prefer to revisit because I'm not sure that how many of you know and to what extent you know. So it's important that I cover it formally over here. Okay. So the very first thing which we are going to talk about Google Colab is why do we kind of focus, or why we are picking Google Colab over other available tools, right? So three of the biggest benefits of Google Colab are listed over here. The first one and the most important one is if you talk about any other IDs, then most of the times we require a lot of efforts with respect to kind of one can say environment setup. Then you also need to take care of dependencies, so on and so forth, right? So with respect to Python libraries, later on you will, for now we are talking about only basics, but later on when you kind of actually develop some kind of application, then you will realize that you have to take care of a lot of dependencies and you have to configure a lot of things before you actually start programming. Whereas the biggest benefit of Google Colab is, as you can read over here, it doesn't require any kind of configuration, right? So that's first and foremost, one can say advantage of using Google Colab. Second one is, as all of you know, that Python programming is just a start, right? And later on, you are going to use this particular knowledge to with respect to whatever field on which you are planning to work. And majority of you are going to utilize power of Python for AI, right? So if you want to become a good kind of data scientist or good AI researcher, then with traditional kind of, one can say, CPUs, you won't be able to get one can say computational power to accomplish high-end tasks, which will be kind of required if you are professionally working in the domains like data scientist or one can say AI researcher. So therefore, you will be needing GPUs, right, graphic processing units, and Google Colab provides that, and that too free of charge, right? So that is one more, one can say, unique advantage which we have with respect to Google Colab. And the third and the most important one again is easy sharing. Let's say I am running a particular code on my system, right? I don't need to kind of download it and then I have to kind of ensure that all the dependency files and environment setup has been kind of conveyed properly, so that identical environment can be regenerated at kind of receiver end, and then he or she will be able to regenerate kind of the same code. This is not the flow with respect to Google Colab. All you need to do is on the right hand side of your screen, you will get kind of one simple share button. And if you click on that particular share button, then you will get some options, and you will decide to whom you are going to share the underlying Colab notebook, right? So this is also quite one can say very unique advantage with Google Colab, that you can share your code very easily with your teammates, like students can share their code with supervisor and vice versa. So that is there. And fourth one that is not listed over here is, in some sense, your work will remain kind of organized and stored because this is again associated with Google. So everything will remain online. So later you can even access this via your cell phone, right? So of course there is one limitation with this particular approach, and that is you need kind of internet connection. Then only you can kind of use Google Colab, right? So I'm just talking about the primary benefits, and now I will talk about how to use this properly, right? So whenever you would like to use Google Colab, you can just go to Google and you can just write Google Colab, right? And then you will get this kind of link over here. Welcome to Colab, Colab Google, right? You can just click on this particular link. Usually, when you click, and if you are doing this for the very first time, then of course it will load some kind of, one can say, a demo kind of file, like welcome to Colab and so on and so forth. But for now, okay, so let me just click on it, welcome to Colab, and then it will land to this kind of page where all the key functionalities, right, which I was mentioning earlier, they are kind of listed along with some specific use cases. As you can see, right, how easy to import standard libraries like NumPy, right? What is NumPy and how it's useful? Of course, these things we will discuss afterwards. But from the heading, you can get sense that these things are relevant to data science domain, right? Similarly, if you go to machine learning, then you will get some nice, one can say, examples, right? At what particular, one can say, subtopics like linear regression, right? How and what Panda can contribute with respect to machine learning. All these things are kind of highlighted. Right? So all the core aspects with respect to, one can say, Colab notebooks and benefits have been highlighted over here. And before that, of course, they are promoting Gemini. So therefore, some details about Gemini is also given in the beginning of this particular Colab network. But for us, this is not useful because, of course, it's useful to know about Google Colab, but we are mainly interested in doing coding. So for us, what we need to do is you can go to this particular file segment and you can kind of start with new notebook in Drive. Right? So let's click on this particular first button, new notebook in the file, and then automatically new tab will open like this. And after a couple of seconds, the notebook will load. Right? So notebook is, in some sense, you can kind of guess from the word, just like our normal notebook, it's collection of lines. But instead of saying them line, we will say it's collection of cells. So cells may not be of just one line. For example, this is like a cell. So cell and there are each line, noise. Okay, I'm not sure how to resolve it. Let me try to put my mic somewhere else. So hopefully now it's better. Can anyone confirm? So it may be the case that there are some issues with your kind of internet connection, but now it's okay. Okay, thank you so much, Dr. Puja. Okay, fine. So now before we go ahead, right? So let me just restate whatever I said earlier. Just like normal notebook, here we are going to have line kind of structures, but instead of calling them line, we are going to formally call it nothing but cell. Right? And each cell, we are going to write something, and something must be code, right? Because this particular platform is for coding. So whatever we are going to write over here, in our normal notebook, we can write anything, right? We can write English, we can write Hindi, but here we are going to write Python code. So that's the first difference. And before I even talk about code and start writing something, it's always good. As you can see, .ipynb, that is the extension for Python files, which by default Google Colab takes. But before I write anything over here, we must give some kind of meaningful title to our Colab notebook. Why? Because let's say I'm creating this particular file right now, with this particular Colab notebook right now, but I may need it after, let's say, 2 or 3 months. So at that time, it will be very much difficult to kind of guess or identify, right, which particular file is corresponding to what, right? So it's important to give some meaningful name, and name must name must be able to convey what we are going to demonstrate in that particular file, right? So I can say just intro to Colab, right? Because that's what that is the focus of my this particular notebook at least. So I will just say intro Colab. Okay. So this is the first thing, that whenever you create any new notebook, ensure that you give some kind of meaningful name so that you can access it afterwards. Now I'm going to write something over here in the cell. Okay, and you can see there is one plus icon over here. So it's of course very obvious that plus means we are going to add. And if I click on plus code, so that means I'm going to add some new cell. So as you can see, as many times I press on this particular plus button, new cell will be created. And if I did this by mistake, then of course I can click on this particular delete icon, right? So these are kind of very obvious things, but still it's important to know them. So now I'm starting. So let me write my first. Let me just fill my first cell. I'm just writing something simple. Let's say hello world, right? Very simple program. I'm just trying to print hello world. Okay. So now there are three different methods to run this particular code. Run means we are going to execute this, and we would like to see what is the outcome of this particular segment. Okay. So first method is very much obvious, and I will use comments to mention the method. And you can just write hash, and whatever you write after hash, that will be part of comment, and it won't be considered as a kind of one can say Python code. So I'm just saying this is my method one, and method one I will say just use play button. Okay. So now what I'm going to do from the name itself is very much clear. Along with each cell, I am getting this kind of special button, which is with this particular icon, which is kind of play icon. So I will just click on this particular play icon. So as soon as I click on this particular button, you can see now my kind of Collab notebook is going to be connected to kind of server. And soon I'm going to get this kind of right symbol over here. So that means it's ready now, and whatever task I'm going to perform, it will be executed very quickly. Right? So if it is showing connecting, that means it's going to take some time. But once it's connected, everything will become very smoother. So as you can see, as soon as I click on this particular button now, I'm getting this kind of response. And along with that, you can also see some kind of numbering over here. Earlier it was 1, now it's 2. If I click one more time, then it's showing 3. So that means it's just counting how many times I've kind of done this particular code. Okay. So the first method is very easy. We are talking about how to run Python code in this particular Colab platform. It's very easy, but still we are just understanding different mechanisms. So now let me write similar kind of code, right? This time. Okay, so let me try to zoom out so that you can focus and see properly what I'm trying to do over here. So instead of this, I will say, okay, hi. Okay, let me just say hi. Okay, and now I'm demonstrating method, right? In method 2, I am requesting you to do this shift plus enter. Okay, if you want, you can do this simultaneously also. I can just share the link of Google Colab, right? So, or you can just search in Google Colab, and then you will get this collab.research.google.com. This is the link. So you just need to kind of go to this particular link, and then you will be able to kind of access it. So let me just share this particular link with you, so that in case if you are not using this earlier, you can just kind of, and if you are using this, then it's fine. You can just still revisit and make sure that you understand all the key aspects associated with Google Colab. Okay, let's continue. So now let me go with second method. So second method is shift plus enter. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to press these two keys simultaneously from my keyboard, right? It's called shift, right? This is just about control, and then I'm pressing enter. And as you can see, something else happened over here. Apart from execution of the code, you can see one more cell has been created. So that means this method is more one can say in some sense, this is more, it's providing something more. And so I recommend this method over normal play button. Right? Why? Because not only it's executing the current cell, it's also creating the next cell. So you don't need to click on this particular plus button, right? So so let me try to execute this one more time. So let's say again, my code is same. Let's say print hi, right? They're going with very basic. But again, I am referring to method 2. In method 2, I'm going to follow this shift plus enter. So if I do shift plus enter, you can see automatically one new cell has been created. And this is very, one can say, convenient for me, because I don't need to again click on plus icon, and again kind of that time can be kind of saved if we use this particular method. So usually whatever code we have, that code doesn't kind of, one can say, complete within kind of, one can say, one iteration. So therefore, it's usually more than one cells are required if you want to kind of complete the overall objective of your, or overall task of your program. Okay. Fine. So now let me try to demonstrate the third method. So again, let me write something over here. Instead of hi, let me write just name of our institute. Let's say MNIT Jaipur. Okay. So and this time I am referring to some other method. Okay. So let me call this particular method three. And the method three is nothing but control, right? CTRL control plus nothing but again one more time enter, right? So this method number three. So now you can try this with me. I am pressing control plus enter, right? So as you can see, control plus enter, this is similar to what we have seen in our very first method, right? So these two are identical, method one and method three, right? Okay. Now let me showcase one more interesting aspect with respect to this execution. As you can see a lot of buttons over here, right? On this particular side panel. The first button is move cell up, right? So move cell up means if I click on this particular button, even though the current location of this particular cell is cell number three, if I click on this particular button, you will see that it's shifting up, right? So I can move this up. If I want to move something down, that I can do with that corresponding down button. For example, here I can go to this particular down button, and then the cell will go down, right? And similarly over here, up button is not present for first because it's anyway first, so it can't go further up. Similarly, but of course, down button is there. And then let me click on this particular down button. So then the location of this will change, as you can see. And of course, there is one button which is corresponding to AI, right? So you can see, right, there is one option of explain code. So if I click on it, then of course Gemini will explain me, right, what this particular code refers to. So in case if you feel that you don't kind of understand any segment of code, or then you can go ahead with that, right? And of course, if you want to start from scratch, right, so then there is one option of generate, but we don't recommend to use that particular option as of now because we are just beginning. So it's not a good idea to use AI to generate code. Just for the sake of completion, I'm just explaining this, right? Okay. So any queries up to this point? Uh, can you just turn this system on? It's not visible. Okay. Okay, so now let me showcase one more interesting use case. As you can see, after we have played a lot with this particular notebook, and you can see these numbers are kind of not proper now, 4, 5, 3, 6, right? So they are not in order. So how to kind of convert these numbers into a particular order, right? So for that particular uh, purpose, what you can do, you can go to runtime, and then you can see that there are some options. What option, which option I'm recommending you right now? That is called restart session and run all. So if I click on that, then what will happen? That session will restart, and now numbering will start from 1, 2, 3. So it will look good. So as you can see, now it's 1, then 2, then 3, then 4, then so, and of course the fifth one has not been kind of written anything, so therefore it doesn't come. But otherwise, as you can see, the numbers are coming in sequence, which is quite interesting, right? So that is kind of, in some sense, I can say, code aspect of this functionality, which is nothing but code. But apart from that, we have some other options also. So let me just showcase those options. First, as you can see, run all, which is also a good option in case if you want to ensure that all the kind of one can say cells have been kind of run. Okay. Okay, so I have one question, how to clear the outputs. Right? So basically what you can do, it's not about clearing, right? So basically here we don't have any issue with respect to outcome because we are not going to kind of utilize the output in some sense. So what you can do, if you want to clear something, you can directly delete, right? For example, if I don't want this output or kind of segment of code, so I can just press on this particular delete button. And if I want to modify something, then there are two options. Like either if I want that whatever code I have written that is fine or maybe partially correct, then I can just copy it and then I can just go to a new cell and then I can try some modification in the device cell, right? So that way it can work because we clear output it doesn't make much sense because basically I guess the question is more towards how to kind of ensure that we get what we want, and something is not wanted, then how to clear it, right? So that is my understanding. So for that, the obvious option is delete, right? You can just click on delete button, and then you can go ahead. Okay, fine. So let me just try to highlight some other important options. So as you can see, run all is there. So if I click on run all, then of course all the cells will be kind of run one more time. For us, the okay, so other shortcuts, as you can see, run before, run the focus, control plus enter. I already kind of explained you, and there are some other shortcuts also, but mainly the shortcut which I have mentioned, right? Those are sufficient for you. So you can go ahead with right. So as per our understanding, right, shift plus enter is the best method to run a cell, because it will automatically create one more cell, so which will be very much handy for us. Okay, and of course you can kind of check for kind of commands also. For example, I don't know what is the command from add a comment or add code cell, so I can just go for it, and then the new cell will be created automatically, right? So a lot of kind of, one can say, in some sense, shortcuts are coming up which can help us very easily with respect to overall programming experience, right? So for example, if I right, so if I click on this, right, insert code about, so automatically, so this will become more clear when I do this with some filled cells. So if I go over here and then I select this, that I want to insert code cell above, then automatically one cell is created above this, right? So with AI integration, of course, we and this kind of short command listing, we get a lot of, in some sense, mechanisms using which overall programming becomes very interesting and easy. Right? Okay, fine. Now, one more interesting thing with respect to Polar Notebook, right? So this was very dry example, right? If I showcase some of my existing notebooks, then you will appreciate this particular platform even more. So let me try to showcase one notebook which contains kind of more code. So as you can see, there is something new over here. What is new? Apart from code, right? Code cells are anyway there. You can see this kind of markup is there. Right? So that is called nothing but text cell. So text cell, okay, so I guess there is some delay in what I'm saying and what you are seeing. So let's wait for a couple of seconds, then you will be able to see this. But what I'm trying to convey over here is, apart from code, there is one more cell which is called text cell. And purpose of text cell is, as you can see over here, the first segment is nothing but it's a text cell. And in the text cell, the purpose is not coding, right? It's going to explain something which is related to coding, right? So, for example, this is corresponding to data structure, Python data structure list. So, what I have done in this particular text cell is I have explained, right, what is the purpose of kind of this particular unit, right? Why data structures are important, right? And I highlighted those things over here, right? They will help with problem solving, right? They are also extremely important with respect to job interviews, so on and so forth. But now, if you try to run this, then it won't make sense, right? Because this is different kind of cell, right? So let me try to explain with respect to text cell. As you can see, this is how it looks when you click on a new text cell, and then you can decide a number of things. Like for example, if I say hello, right, or maybe I can say welcome to this FTP, then I can convert this into bold, right? All I need to do is I need to click on this particular bold button, and if I click on that particular bold button, then my text will be converted into bold, right? So I have to first, of course, select the entire text which I want to convert into bold or italics. So now, hopefully you understand what is the purpose of this kind of text cell, right? If I now what I can do, I can just close this kind of markdown, and then if required, I can edit. So let me try to demonstrate this, right? If I click on this edit, then you will appreciate how this works. For example, over here, I have given this particular font color green, and then within font kind of anchor, I have written this kind of within font, I should say, tag. I have written this kind of line or comment, which talks about lists, what lists are. So what I can do, if I want some different color, for example, red. So instead of green, I can just write red, and then I can just close this markdown, and you can see that entire kind of segment or text cell is converted into that font, right? So you can do a lot of things with respect to even text cell. So they are for kind of additional details, right? What this segment is talking about, right? The coming up segment of code or some interesting observation which you would like to showcase or share with your audience. Those things you can mention in your Excel. But always remember, you should not select this and try to run this. It's not possible because they are text. They are just providing some additional context, right? In some sense, they are not official part of our program, but they will give some additional insights about the code. That's the whole idea about that. Right? So overall, with the help of this markdown, you can see the notebook looks quite interesting, right? Now it's not just code. In between, you can see some kind of additional insights we are providing to our reader, right? So that the corresponding person can learn more or understand more with respect to what's coming up next, right? So that's the whole idea of this markdown. Now, let me share one more interesting feature of this. So let's say you have done this nicely, but later on you want to revise your code. Let's say you are preparing for some kind of examination, or maybe you want to conduct examination and you want copies of this work which you have done. So what you can do, you can directly go to this particular print option, and here you can go for save as PDF. You can see that if I go with that option, then entire Colab notebook is converted into kind of PDF, and of course I can save this particular PDF and later on revisit it for kind of revision purpose or whatever purpose I want, right? I can also kind of share it with others, but the print aspect. So, yes, it's features of the right. So, for example, I would like to share this with Tyagi sir. So, what I will do, I will just say, uh, I will just write down his email ID, and then I can give some kind of rights over here, right? Whether he or she is viewer or kind of commenter or editor. So, if you give right of editor, then uh, he will see the same copy of nothing but my collab notebook, and he will be also able to modify. But if you just give this viewer right, then modifications are not possible. Right? So depending upon what you want, right, you can decide, right, whether you are making him editor or viewer. Right, depending upon your purpose, you can decide, of course. Right. And one more option is, right, if I go to share option, let's say you don't have time, you don't know the email ID of the person which to whom you want to share. So then what you can do, there is one more option, anyone with the link, and then you can give that particular right. For example, I'm saying that anyone with this particular link is editor of this particular collab notebook, and then I can just copy that particular link and share it with you guys, then you will be able to kind of modify this collab notebook. Okay? So let me try to do this. But whenever you do this, ensure that you make a copy of your original file, because now what will happen? Let's say if I share this Google Colab notebook with you, then you are going to modify it, and then my original version may get lost, or maybe even if it is there, then I have to kind of backtrack it, right? So it's always a good practice that you create one concrete copy of your original work before sharing your work with others, right? So that in case of emergency, you have some kind of basic version with you, which you can of course upgrade afterwards, right? So now I've done this, right? So I let me call this like my version of this, right? My version of this file, Colab notebook, and then what I can do is whatever kind of I have created, I can just share that particular link which I have just created. Right? So if I go back one more time very quickly, then you just need to go to share button, and then you have to give anyone with the link will be nothing but editor. I have copied that particular link, and I can just go ahead and share that. So as you can see, it's very easy, right? And again, irrespective of your background, right? You don't need any kind of installation. You don't need any kind of variable setup or environment setup, right? So those are, one can say, advantages of this particular Colab notebook. Of course, the one, and one can say the most significant disadvantages with respect to connectivity. You must have internet connection, and of course digital devices, of course, needed even for offline kind of IDs. So I won't say that part, but internet is one can say mandatory requirement. So all of you can try, right? If you click on this particular link, irrespective of your email ID, whether you belong to MNIT, whether you are within MNIT or outside MNIT, you will be able to access this very smoothly, right? So that's that. Okay. Now, let me just kind of just try to highlight what other things are important. Okay, so let me just first connect this, because if I don't connect, then I won't be able to showcase. And anyway, this is kind of shared. So let me just try to showcase these things on my version, because most of you are trying to kind of access this. Okay, anyway, so now I am here, and let me try to showcase. Okay, so first I have to, of course, connect. Ensure that you first connect your notebook. If you don't connect it, then you won't get all options, and also your code won't run. So it's always a good practice to first look for this. Right, let me try to zoom so that you can see this. It's always good to look for this kind of straight green signal. That means a connection has been established. Okay. So now, what I will do, let me just try to highlight a couple of more important, I can say, segments. Since all of you are teacher, for you, this particular feature is also extremely interesting and important. This is called slideshow. So start slideshow from the beginning. So if I do so, then you will be able to see each markdown as well as each cell as one kind of nice, one can say, full screen mode, right? And all other things will be kind of hidden. So this is very good for focus teaching, because what's the disadvantage of notebook which we are seeing as of now is that a lot of things kind of being highlighted, and that is in limited space. So one cannot focus, right? I was talking about this. What is the importance of this Python data structure? But you couldn't see it properly because a lot of things were written over there. But in slideshow mode, you can easily see. And if I click on next, then you will see each what I have written in each and every segment. And segment can be either cell, or it can be nothing but your markup, right? So whatever is there, if I click on those right arrows, which are kind of visible towards the bottom of my screen, then you will be able to kind of see what's coming up next, right? And of course, we can go for full screen mode, and things will look even better, right? So maybe let me try to reshare my screen, because somehow it was frozen. Let me share it one more time so that you can see it properly what I'm trying to. Okay, so there are some issues with share. Okay, let me try one more time. Hopefully, okay. Now it's visible. Fine. So as you can see over here, I can just change uh, to next segment of my kind of notebook over here, and I can also go for the full screen, right? So those are the options available over here. Can anyone confirm whether my screen is visible or not? It seems there are some issues, right? So let me because I can't see this on other screens. Let me share. Okay, oh, it was visible in fact. Okay, sorry. So maybe then there are some issues from our side. Okay, if it is visible, then it's perfectly good. Okay, so as you can see, if I click on next button, then the content will change. So which is a very good thing. Okay, it's loading. Okay, let's wait. Hopefully, it will be visible very soon. So the advantage of this slideshow mode, right? As you can see, okay, so again, there are some issues with screen. Let me try to stop it and share one more time. On my screen, it's saying that it's shared, but somehow it's not visible. Okay, finally it's visible. Okay. Can anyone confirm? Yes, okay, thank you. So as you can see, if I click on next button, so then it will go ahead, right? So that's the advantage. So as a teacher, you should know this functionality of Google Colab, that you can just click on, then you can ensure that your students focus on cells only, right? And of course, you can go ahead and try with this full screen mode, then it will look even more beautiful, right? So that's the biggest advantage of using Google Colab, that it not only it's good for kind of learning, but later on, once you have developed something nice, it's very easy and one can say interesting in terms of demonstration also, right? So, and you can just click on next, 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 and uh, of course, if you want to zoom, then you can also zoom this individual cell also, right? So that way, the interface is quite good. But you have to always ensure that you click on this particular done all button before you do all these things so that it looks proper, right? So now, I guess, let me just, okay, so slideshow mode, that is mainly for presentation. So as per my knowledge, you cannot change anything over here. But let's see, we can try, right? If they offer this, then it's fantastic. But okay, so let me connect this and see. Okay, let me click on this reconnect button. Let me try to reload and check. The purpose is, of course, for presentation, but they change these features very rapidly, so they may allow, right? Let's see. Let's verify this. So we have to first ensure that we are connected. So I'm just waiting for that particular signal first, because then only I can try other things. So let me try to close other things so that uh, I can get the desired resources in some sense. So now it's connected, and okay, so this is not of my importance. So let me see whether we can modify code or not. Yeah, finally, yes. So it can, we can in fact modify this, which is good, right? So as you can see, so this is even better. So as you can see in the runtime, right, while showing to your students, you can modify your code, and you can also try some different solutions which are proposed by your students, right? If you want to verify something, right? So it's a very nice questions, Swapan, right? Even I was not sure about this, but it's working. So it's a very nice feature to have. Okay, and as you can see, of course, you can also edit the markup if you want, but usually markups are not that important. They are not core aspect of our work, so we can ignore. But even if required, you can also modify them. Right? So, okay. So last thing with respect to this is somewhere I have to also talk about resources. Just as you can see, but it will talk about this, right? This may require sometimes, right? When you talk about, let's say you are working on a lot of programs simultaneously. So many times you have to kind of terminate some program abruptly, right? So that you can do while just going to this resources, and then you can click on NX sessions. And if something is not working properly, then you can terminate. Of course, you can close it, but sometimes this option may become handy. Okay, so apart from that, okay, let me just uh, go to settings. All of these things are, I guess, fine. This is fine. We don't need to modify, etc. Of course, the theme and all those things, they are kind of okay. One of the interesting thing is, if you feel that font is too small and it's not visible by your class or maybe to you, then you, of course, you can increase this in settings. So that is also a nice option to have. So as you can see, now the font size has been increased and code is slightly more easily visible. So those again, these are kind of very tiny enhancement features. They are not core aspect, but still we are just looking into them. Okay. So apart from that, okay, all of this are fine. We can also go for notebook settings. This is the most important part. Notebook settings, right? So for now, as you can see, this also supports other languages like R and Julia, but our focus is on only Python. But you can see when you talk about some kind of deep learning based kind of, one can say, code, then you can shift to this kind of GPU also, right? For now, it's CPU and it will work fine for you. But if required, you can go ahead and switch to GPU. So for that, you have to go for notebook settings. So this was important. So therefore, I wanted to share. Okay. So this is, I guess, all about Google Colab. This much information is sufficient. Now, let me talk about, since we don't have that much time, but let me just give you one alternative. If, in case if you are looking for some kind of offline version, I will quickly give you tips how to install it. Of course, there are a lot of material available online using which you can install those tools or IDEs. But what I recommend is this. Okay? So can anyone guess what is the name of this from the interface itself? You can just write it down in the comment section. Visual code. Yes. So let me just give you some steps how to install it. I won't go into the detailed installation because it will take a lot of time. But I will just give you some pointers which you can kind of remember in case if you don't have this, if you are not using this. So first thing which you need to do is you need to go to this particular link at visualstudio.microsoft.com, and then you need to click on download Visual Studio Code. Right? So that's the idea. But okay, so let me also share this links with you. Okay, let me just kind of stop sharing and share this link first. Okay, so this is there. But before even this, okay, so okay, fine, it's okay. So I will just explain all the steps and then we can decide on flow. It's fine. So this is the link using which you can first go for downloading Visual Studio Code. So you can click on this particular button. Then it will give you a lot of options, which system you are using, right? Whether you are using Windows or Mac. And apart from that, you also have to check, right, whether your machine is 64-bit or 32-bit or whatever it is, right? So for that particular purpose, you can go to your settings, and then you can go to system and about, and then you can get knowledge about your system, right? So mine is 64-bit operating system, and then it's Windows 11, right? So then accordingly, I can choose that I should go for this particular installer, right? X64 user installer, right? I'm not going for zip file, right? This installer is fine. So once I click on this particular button, I've already done this, but still if I click on it, so it will say thanks for downloading, and automatically the download will start over here, right? So since I've already downloaded, it's showcasing like this, whatever the name of the file is, bracket 1 is appearing because of duplication, and then it's saying .exe, and then you just need to run this particular exe, right? So those are the simple steps which you need to follow first. Then the important part is once you follow these steps, directly you won't get this kind of nice interface. For example, you won't get this kind of run button. For that particular purpose, you need to go for this kind of extension, right? The first one is first extension which you need to install. It's called Python extension, right? Apart from Python, you need to so okay, let me just showcase all the kind of one can say installed extension in my particular case, and two of the most important ones are code runner. So what is the idea of code runner? You don't need to write those long syntax to run Python code. If you install this extension, then just you will this particular run button will appear, and you will be able to kind of run your Python code just by clicking that particular button. So as you can see, if I click this particular button, my code is again simple, just one line, print hello. Just this I'm trying to demonstrate this platform. So I haven't written anything complex. You can see in the output section, I can see this hello is written over there. And so therefore, this code runner is important. Apart from that, of course, Python is important. Python extension is important. So this two extension you have to install. And apart from that, you have to ensure that in your system, Python latest version of Python is kind of installed, right? So those three things are essential. And of course, a lot of kind of guides are available how to install this. So in case if you are stuck, we will help you, and we'll also share you kind of concrete steps which you can kind of repeat and get this in case if you are interested. So what we recommend for this particular application is you can pick one particular, at least one particular IDE. Either it can be of online mode or offline mode, maybe Google Colab, or maybe if you whatever you want, maybe Jupyter. So it's same kind of Jupyter structure or notebook structure we can get over here also. Can you see this? Just like cells, you can see the same. Okay, so let me try to zoom if I can do over here. So then, okay, so let me close this so that we can focus over here. So here, as you can see, the structure is very much similar. Colab, just like Colab, code, markdown, run all, restart. The similar options which I have already explained for Google Colab, the same options are appearing over here, right? And then you can run individual cells over here also, right? So tool is immaterial, right? Some of them may have that's kind of better AI capabilities or kind of autocomplete things. But since we assume that all of us are kind of at beginner level, so for us, it doesn't make much kind of difference in terms of which tool to use. But we recommend this tool, Google Colab, mainly because if you want to work on deep learning or machine learning, so that in those cases they will be extremely helpful. And the second one is this Visual Studio, right? Visual Studio Code, and we have shared the links for both of them. Now, I'm towards the third and last aspect of my talk. I'm going to demonstrate one particular kind of custom GPT which I have designed and which has gained a lot of attention worldwide, and how it works and what are its functionality and how it makes learning Python very kind of interesting and intuitive. So that I will try to demonstrate very quickly, and then we'll continue with other topics. Okay. So what I will do, maybe I can just directly showcase that first, and then I will kind of talk more about it, that how it works and what all you can do with it. So let me just try to load it first. Okay, so see, this is Python ki Bhasha, Hindi English friendly, and this is for enhancement. This is not kind of replacement, right? We are not saying that you learn everything from over here. This is mainly for your practice. In kind of yes, Monica ji, right? Any platform is fine. PyCharm is also fine, right? It's immaterial, right? Whatever you pick, just be consistent with it. It's not like that. Where for some portion you are using tool one, then tool two, or ID one, then ID two. Make sure that consistently you follow a particular ID. Right. So here, what I recommend, right, if anyone can just write his or her hobby, then I will try to demonstrate what this particular tool does. All right, this custom GPT does, and then hopefully you will be able to appreciate it. Or maybe you can just write down name of your favorite web show or English movie, right? And if someone can just quickly write down, otherwise I will just take one example and then showcase how it works. So maybe I can just go ahead then. So for example, let's say my name is Maipal and I like, let's say, movie this Three Idiots, but I don't know anything about, let's say, while loop of Python. Okay, we don't know anything about, let's say, how while loop. This is one topic of Python programming. I don't know about it. Okay, so what this particular tool will do it will connect all these things. It will create one story, fictional story, of course, in which Maipal will be the main character of this particular story, and the movie, whatever kind of one can say scenes of movies or characters of movies are there, they will be related to kind of map nicely to while loop, right? So that the entire learning experience becomes kind of very interesting, right? So what you can do, you can just write down your name and your hobby, right? Whatever things you know very nicely, right? It can be outside of curriculum very easily, right? It's not that you need to write something technical, and then whatever you want to learn, right? So for example, over here, as you can see, scene by scene, it's trying to connect some aspect of movie with idea of while loop, right? And of course, it will give some code segment, how it will give some metaphors, right? How it's related to cricket, how it's related to Instagram, right? So, so that means you can reiterate, right? It's so far learning was teacher centric, right? We give you one direction that this is concept and this is how you should learn it. But now with this tool, it's student centric. Like you can decide that what is your favorite kind of interest or hobbies or movies, and this tool will map those things with concepts of Python programming so that learning becomes interesting, right? So that's the whole idea. And of course, I can share the link of this so that you can play with this. I won't spend much time on this because that other technical things are anyway pending, so we should focus on them. But this is for, again, I'm repeating, this is for enhancement. This is not for replacement. We are not recommending to kind of you to just use this. We are just saying that in addition to whatever you are learning, if you feel that some kind of revision is required, then you can just go for it. And I will just quickly showcase some key functionalities of it and what was the core idea. So the core idea was, of course, in terms of education, challenge of language. So therefore, the GPT supports Hindi as well as English also. And then personalization, I've already explained how personalization is possible with this particular tool. And of course, narrative aspect. It's not kind of fact based. It's about story, so that you can relate very easily. And right, all the key kind of one can say functionalities are written over here. And I already shared the link, so you can of course revisit. And I launched this around 1 year back, and it has got a lot of recognition in terms of rating. Also, it's good. More than 1,000 conversations it has supported. It was also featured by OpenAI. So those are the things associated with this. So if you want, you can try it. Okay. Okay. So I guess with this, I conclude my session, and Dr. Dinesh will continue with respect to Python operators, I guess next. Thank you. Okay, so we'll take a break for 5 minutes and we'll continue at 6:15 p.m. Okay, thank you.
ये मैं कट कर तो सही है। ये सब हटा देते हैं जरूर के नहीं म्यूट रखना, अभी स्टार्ट नहीं करना, बंद। Good evening to everyone. I am audible. Okay, fine. Thank you. So let us take a few minutes for the revision of what concept we discussed. We talked about print statement. That print statement is used to display the outcome on the screen. Scene we have to use the print and then the variable 1, variable 2 with the comma separated. Or sometimes that variable can be separated by new line, so that whatever the contents are there, that can be displayed by going to the new line. So let us take this example, print display text, right? Remember the syntax that after the print, it will be consist of different values in a bracket. If it is a string, that need to be either in the single quote or maybe in the double quote. Okay, so print display text, create one variable x 30, y variable minus 40, which is of type integer. Now we are displaying the value of x by typing one of the sentence, print in the single quote value of x, close the quote, comma x, comma value of y, comma y. Now if you are going to be run this program, the value of x will be displayed, value of y will be displayed. Now we are using the new line separator. You can see value of x and printing the variable x. After the new line we are inserting here in the print statement. So what did it does that after displaying this value of x, the next content value of y will go to the next line. So if you are going to be run this program, what we observe here as the outcome is that displaying the text which are coming there. Because of this print value of x and value of y, we are getting value of x to be 30, value of y to be 40. Now for the second print statement, we have value of x, and then we have new line separator. This new line has been used. So value of x is going to become 30. After this outcome to be displayed, it will go to the new line. In the new line, value of y are going to display. Same you can observe in the other print statement, value of x, then there should be a slash and y in the code. So here you can see that this ny is also going to be taken as a new line. So it means value of y will be displayed in a new line. So if required, new line can be combined with any of the string, and it can show the content thereafter in a new line. Now input we have been seen, which are going to be take some string which are going to be displayed as a prompt asking for some value to be entered, and the value which are going to return by this input function will be always of type string. You will always get a string. If you are giving a number, that will be as a string. If you are giving any floating number, that will be also as a string. Okay. If you are not going to give this prompt string, in that case, nothing are going to be displayed to the user. So user is not aware of what type of value they have to enter. So now here you can see input, enter your name please. We are storing that into one variable name. Now input your age, which we are storing into the age. And once we are going to display this outcome, my name, comma name variable, my age, we are going to make if you are going to make this as a age, you can see what we are going to get here. It is asking for, see, it is asking for your name, giving MNIT. Then it is asking for age, say 20. Now this is writing my name name is MNIT, my age 20, right? If suppose to this age I want to add, because it seems that age is going to become a integer value. It means that to this age I can able to add some value 10. Let us see what outcome you are going to get it. Say hello, and we are getting 20. Now we are getting error of type error, because here what we are doing, age is coming to be of string type, because it say that in value which are going to return by the input statement will be string. With this string, we are trying to add some integer value, so that is not supportable operation. That's why with every variable, type is going to be assigned, and with that type of value, there are some predefined inherent operations which are associated. It means that two string value cannot be added because that is not an integer. Similarly, any integer cannot be added to any of the string. So these kind of operations should not be supported on the integer or float value. Okay, so this is coming there. It means that we are required to convert first into appropriate type, then only this addition can be possible. That will look shortly. Okay. So now in this case, another example, if you are going to look at, we are reading the first number as a input, second number as input, and if you are going to sum it, our sum is coming as a 23. If you are giving the 2 and 3, we are getting 23, which are going to work as a concatenation in case both the value are going to become a string. Okay, if you are looking the type of A, data type of B, it is showing that it is belonging to the category of string type. Okay, that's why so you are required to be careful that the value which was entered in the input, that is always by default giving back as the string. So what about if you want to take this value to be work as addition? We are required to convert this using one of the type casting function, say int. You have to use the int. If we want to convert this into the integer, so we are required to use the int function as a type conversion. Within that, we can write as a input from first number A. As usual, we are writing, but that needs to be typecast to the integer type. Okay. Similarly, we can do for the B in whatever the input which are coming in the string format as a second number, that need to be converted into the integer. And now if you are going to be do this compilation, you can see what number we are going to give as a input 10, 20. Now we can see. Now the number 10 and 20 has been added and giving the correct operation of addition. Whereas if you are looking at data type for A, data type B, we are getting the integer category. And if you want to print their address where it has been stored, ID A, I can use the ID function, ID. Now we can also visualize they are given the different binding to the addresses. So 10, 20. Now you can see A have different memory location 704. B has been binded to the other location 024. That's how we are required to be careful while we are using the integer value reading through the input function. Now let us come to again to the basic building block of data type which are available into the Python current version. So currently the data which are stored into the memory location will be of many types, including numerical value, which is integer, maybe float, maybe complex number. Complex number is also going to be supported by Python. Dictionary, Boolean, which will be of type true or false. It can be a set type of data. It can be a sequence type where list, tuple, and string. So these are the different type of data which are stored into the memory, which are supported by the basic building block of data type in the Python. So we are going to look at each of these data type one by one. So let us take integer. As we seen, integer is going to be a basically data type of type int, which can be any integer value. Float value, floating that will be going to be 2.3, 4.6. String will be as usual the sequence of characters which are in the single quote or maybe double quote, which may be consist of either alphabet or maybe the alphabet and character, or might be any special character which are enclosed into the double quote or single quote that will be treated as a string. Another data type we have a list, which is basically the ordered sequence of object, which can consist of different type of item, which is represented into a square bracket, and the items are going to be separated by comma 10 hello, that is one string, comma 203. So this is the list, which is the ordered sequence of object. Dictionary, which is unordered pair of key value pair. Here you can see this will be represented as a curly braces having a pair of key and then value with a colon. So this is the first value, my key colon value, name Frankie. So name is the key. With this key, Frankie is associated value. Similarly, we have a tuple data type, which are ordered immutable sequence of object, which can also contain the different type of value, maybe character, maybe string, maybe the floating number. Only thing that they are going to become immutable once it has been created. The value of that tuples cannot be changed. Set, which is the unordered collection of unique objects which are represented into the curly braces, and this can also contain any type of value. And we have another type of variable data type is the Boolean, which is known as the bool type, which indicate true or false. So let us check it how this can be created, this type of data type. So we can create any integer by making a equal to say 7, it is an integer, b equal to 2.5. So now b is going to work as a floating point number, c equal to, or you can say name equal to MNIT, that is working as a string. If you want to create any list, say list y, we can make this into the square bracket and it contains the different values, 20, 30, it might be 30.5, it might be MNIT string, it might be again 10, then it can also contain maybe FDT. Okay, so this y is going to be one kind of list type of data. If we want to display this y, print y, you can check what we are getting. The same list is going to be displayed which contain the different type of values. And if you want to check what type of data it associated with, we have to apply the print type function type and check what type of this data y belongs, variable y belongs. So here if you are going to run it, what we are getting, it is of class list, category list. Similarly, if you want to make it say z, where we want to create a tuple, we can make say 2, 3, hello, and if you are going to be print and display value of z, just try to see what type we are getting for this print z and print type of z. If you are running this one, you can see This Z is some of the collection of item which will contain the value of different type, but the data type for this Z is belong to the tuple. This is tuple, and tuple is going to become immutable. Once this value has been this tuple has been created, this value cannot be changed, or this tuple cannot be changed. Similarly, if you want to create dictionary, suppose we are creating a dictionary D. So dictionary should consist of any key value pair. Key. Suppose we are giving the two as a key, and value we are giving 2, right? Comma. Second key value pair we are giving 3. We are going to contain 3, right? We can make 4 as a key, and we are giving any value, maybe say 400, right? And then we are going to close this with the, it will be going to created with the curly braces. Remember, this will be created with the curly braces, and we want to print this particular D. So D, we are trying to display what is this D, and if you are looking the type of this D, this must be belong to a dictionary. Now you can see, if you are taking this D as a dictionary key value pair, so 2 is the key, 2 is TW is the value, 3 is the key, 3 is the value. So this way the key value pair we want to store in a dictionary, and the type of D data type is of class dictionary. If you want to create a set should be also created with the curly braces, but they are going to become unordered collection. And if you are going to be take any type of value into this one, and if you are displaying this data type for this set, we are getting the class set. So remember that whenever you want to create a list, we have to use the square bracket and put those values. If you want to create a dictionary, use the key value pair into the curly braces. First, square bracket and set curly braces without any key value pair. And also this Boolean value can be possible for some data type. Let us check here. This example, we are going to make this B equal to 2. So now the data type B I. So this type for this I, let us check what type of data it belongs to. Now you can see it is belonging to the bool category. If you want to make C, and we want to assign some complex value, so 5 plus 6j, this is the complex, and we want to print this value of this variable z, and if you are going to print the type for this C, which is of complex type, we can see here the value which are going to display for this variable C, which is a complex number 5 plus 6j, and their type is of class complex. Okay, so we have been seeing that we have different type of data which are available in the Python. As per the requirement, we can use the appropriate data type. So this we will discuss one by one in more detail in the subsequent lecture. But before that, let us talk about two important concepts. One is the mutable, other is the immutable object. As I told you that we have the different type of data in Python, such as number, string, and tuple, or we have the list, dictionary, and set. So these data types are classified into the two different categories. One is mutable type of data, other is immutable data type. So generally the value of some object can change. So some object or some variable whose value can be changed or set to be mutable type of object, or some object whose value has not been changeable once they have been created. Such type of object is known as the immutable. So we can found different type of object that can be created in Python using the appropriate data type. So the mutability of an object is determined by its type. It means what type of that object we are creating. Depending on that type of object, their immutability can be determined. If it is a tuple type of object, so that is going to become a immutable type of object. If it is a list, it is going to be belong to the category of mutable type of object. So data type where the value assigned to a variable can be changed is a mutable. Data type where the value assigned to a variable cannot be changed is known as the immutable type. It means that the tuple string number which we are creating a variable of that type is mutable, otherwise it is going to become immutable. It means any immutable type of that a variable which we are creating, once its value has been assigned during the initialization, their value cannot be changed. If you are trying to change that value, it means that we are creating another variable of that type. Let's see with example when we discuss about the different type of data type. So my Python is going to be handled type of object depending on whether it is mutable or immutable in the different way. So when it means that if you have any immutable object, that immutable object once created, we could not able to change their values. So that kind of object, if you are trying to access their value, it is going to become much more faster. While some changes, if you want to perform to the immutable object, the modification is going to become much more expensive because that operation will be required to create one copy of that object into some other format, then change their value, and again you have to assign to that original object. So that will take too many operations, so that is going to become expensive. So once we discuss about the tuple and string, we'll talk about those type of changes which are required there. So remember that immutable object change their memory address when they are going to get updated. If you are going to see this concept, so what we did, we have been created one of the, suppose this z we are going to create as a tuple, right? This is we are creating 2, 3 hello as a tuple, right? And if you are going to display this value of this variable, we are getting as a tuple. Now let's check that we are trying to change this value. Okay, going to making this change that to be of 22 and 3 and hello. Okay, and if you are trying to print this z and their type, okay, and also we are trying to print not only the type but also their address, okay, id z. Here we are taking address, memory address, location z. Now you can see what is outcome is coming. Now check here. This Z is 2, 3 and hello. Inside contain this data. If you are trying to display the value, we are getting 2, 3 hello, and their type is tuple and location where it has been stored is 4736. Now the same tuple which are given for our example case. Now these two we have been changed, updated with 22. If this Z is remained to be of the same object, so their memory location also going to be same. But why we are getting this is updated, which is maybe an typical dynamic position. We are getting is the other area. And so that say that these are going to become immutable. But if suppose same we are going to be changed with list, as list is going to be known as mutable, and so now you can check what is happening in this case. Okay, now you can check here. Both list is this data type is going to be changed as a list. And here it cannot be shown to you in that way, because as I told you that if variables any value are going to change, their data type, their addresses are going to be bind to other location. Okay. So that I will take another example in the list to show you whether it is mutable or not. But this way of representation is not a good example to demonstrate this kind of mutability or immutability. So when we'll discuss about the list and Python in detail, then we'll come again with appropriate example to show you this kind of immutability and mutability. Okay. So these are the two type of objects which will be possible in the Python. Okay. So let us, already we have been seen type. So we have the integer type, we have the float type, we have the string type. Okay, data type, fundamental basic data type. So individual some object that has some internal structure, but that cannot be divisible. Such type of object is known as a scalar object. So any object which are not divisible and which does not have any internal structure is known as a scalar, such as integer. This cannot be any into 732 cannot be further split as a multiple part. Float cannot be split. Boolean cannot be divisible into the different component. None type, as I told you that it is one kind of keyword which is used to define null value, or sometimes when we do not have any value to be known at that moment, that variable we can define as a none, and their data type will be taken later on with the type of value to which it is going to be assigned. So let us take here example for this scenario. If suppose you are going to be take here one variable, say a equal to none, right, which are going to become none, say n, and we are trying to print the type of n, and also if you want to print the value of n, let us check what we are getting. We are getting the class type of none. Okay, and let us check whether you are getting any memory binding to be happen or not, because once the variable is created, object is created, only then the binding are going to take place. So now this type of n is none, which are assigned to some location, but this will not contain any value if you are trying to display. So later on, suppose we are going to make this n to be 20.5, and then if you are going to be display this type of this value, and there we can get a float at 20.5. See why this none is given. If you are going to be write this program in any other programming language, so if any value variable is not created, you could not able to perform any computation. So here sometimes some variable we have been created, but their value is not known. So that variable we can create as a none type, and later on their value can be changed as per the need of program, which is mostly used in case of function they are going to be used permanently. And non-scalar type of object is such object which have the internal structure such as string or maybe dictionary. They have their own internal structure, where that's why we can able to refer individual characters within their particular string or maybe in the tuple. So this is what type function we have been used for, which is used to return the data type of any object. Say type 500, it is an integer. Type minus 200, it is also integer. Type float 3.14, it is also float. Type 2, which is going to become a type boolean. Hello class, this is a string. Type 3 not equal to 2. This 3 not equal to 2 is one expression, right? So their result is going to come as a some value 3 not equal to 2. It is come as a true or false. 3 not equal to 2. This is going to become a true. So their type of this value which you are getting will be of type boolean. Type conversion, which is also known as a type cost, is used to convert value of one type to another value type. Generally, we can use the int or float conversion function. So int converted to the float or float can be converted to the integer. So integer 3 is stated. Suppose we are trying to convert 3, integer 3 as a float, we can get 3.0. It means whenever the real number is expected from that conversion. But if you want to convert any floating point number, say 3.6, as a type conversion or type casting, it will be truncated as 3. It means this is going to be round up as a 4 for integer context. So it can be truncated to 3 or it can be round up as a 4 for integer context. Okay. So that conversion are going to be taken place appropriately here. Types are used as a type of conversion function. Say if you want to convert into the integer, the conversion function we have to use the int. If you are converting to the float, it will be required to be conversion of the float. So generally, we are using the int, float or str with the square bracket to use it as a conversion type casting function. So there are two type of casting happen in the programming language of Python. One is implicit type casting, where Python convert data type into another data type automatically. It means your interpreter compiler will do for you. But sometimes we also require to perform manually some type casting explicitly, so that the data type of one variable should be converted to the data type another type. In that case, we can use the appropriate type casting function. For example, you can see here in this example below, a is equal to 5, b equal to 6.5, and we wanted to add b plus a, and we want to get the addition of this as a c. So now in this case, the value of a is 5, value of b is 6.5, and if they are going to be added, the value of b and a is going to become 11.5. So I can see it means that b plus a, whatever their result is coming, going to store into the C, the data type of C need to be a floating type. But if you want to convert that b plus a result to be of integer type, where the C should belong to the type of as a integer, then we are required to use the explicit type conversion function. We want to convert as a int, so we are using the int, and inside this int, in the bracket, we have to give the value which we want to convert. So b plus a going to be as 11.5, that will going to be converted to the C, assigned to the C. Now the data type of C is going to become a integer type. Okay, so now that way the conversions are going to be take place. So explicit and implicit conversions are going to be take place. Here you can see int 2.5 converted to the 2, 2.3 converted to the 2, 3.9 converted to the 3. It means whatever this conversion we are doing, if that is converted to the integer, then this value are going to be truncated, not rounding. It means rounding will not be taken. 3.9 should not be 4, 2.5 should not be 3. It means they are going to be truncated toward the lowest near integer value, not to the highest integer value. Similarly, if you have the 3, we want to convert to the float, this will be represented as a 3.0. Say this is 73. What is this? This is going to become a string 73. This will be represented as a 3. 73 is represented as a string. But now this has been converted into the integer, so we can able to get it as a 73. If suppose we want to convert a string into the integer, so that is not going to be possible. This will give you the value, because int conversion wanted the value to be of integer or float, not a string, because a string is a invalid literal which are required to be given to this particular int type casting function. So similarly, if some is integer value or float value is given, which we want to convert to the string, we can able to do using the string functionality. Okay. So if you want to visualize this thing, let us check this one. We have C equal to int, and we can make 3.5, or we can able to make b equal to input, that what we have been given float, and input enter float, and we can display the print C. We can check the data type, right? Print type of C, and type of B. Let us check what we can get as outcome. Print type D. This one bracket is missing. Sorry, this is going to be given as a in, okay, print C and format is missing. This is okay. Now you can see what mistakes we are getting here. Int 3.5, right? So after this conversion, you have to give in the bracket the value. Now in case of this input, you can see what is the mistake in this one. We are giving the input, right? In the bracket, we are giving the font which are required. After then, there should be one bracket is required, which is need to be closing of this plot with the plot starting the opening bracket. Here again one of the closing bracket is required. Because of that, it is giving one kind of invalid syntax. Now you can see enter the float value. They are asking, we are entering the 4.6. Now you can see this type for the C is integer now. But we are giving here the value to be of as a of type float. If you are looking the for the case of input enter float value, we are giving the 3.5 as a input. Now the data type of this 3.2, 3.5 is now showing to be of type float. But if we are going to be miss this type conversion, we are not using this type conversion and we are using only input. And if you are trying to display this data type, we are getting the data type to be a string. Now you can see it is going to become as a string. Okay, so that way we can do whatever the appropriate input conversion are required in the input function. So that's why here, in case this input which are given to be of wrong type and we wanted to do the operation, say in this case 35 we are entering, 35 is going to be of string type. With this string value, we want to add some integer value. So this kind of addition operation cannot be possible. So we will get one kind of can't conversion error, convert int object to the string implicitly. So this is one kind of type error that we can able to get it. But if you can able to make this age to be converted to the integer, which is now shown to be as a string, now this age can be added to this value. That can be possible. Okay. So this is all about today's session. In tomorrow's session, we'll start sharp at 3 o'clock and we'll discuss various kind of operators and expressions which are available in the Python. And thereafter, we'll start the decision making statement in the last hours of tomorrow's session. If you have any query, you may please ask it. Type in your chat. And all of you are requested kindly come with Jupyter or PyCharm installation in your system, or maybe you can use any of online compiler. There we can do simultaneously whatever coding we are doing here, and I will also ask from you that you should give the answer so that simultaneously we can able to, you can also able to type some questions and you can have some program and you can able to learn that. Okay. Hope you understood whatever the basic concept we discussed today. In case whenever you have any query, you can post us, and all these material and video recording, slides or any kind of assignment that should be available on the canvas which has been created for this session. So should we close the session, today's session? And if you have any suggestions, you can able to, you are always open to write that one. Requirement. Okay, thank you everyone. Stop recording. Recording stop. यहाँ भी बोलो, वहाँ से बोलो भी ठीक है, टाइप करो। वहाँ वाइड ऑन करो, वहाँ से तो मेरे पास होती है वो इनको कौन है सर, यहाँ का बंद कर दो, ऑटोमेटिक कनेक्ट है सर।
On है sir. Whatever the glitches regarding the wires or maybe some video feeding has been observed today, we will definitely work it to be resolved from tomorrow's session onward. Okay, thank you.